Hello, y'all. I'm just going to tell you, I am sleepy. So I'm going to hang around as much as I can today before I go take my butt and get in the bed. Because that is how I'm feeling. I went out. I got to share this out. I went out with my daughter to run a couple of nondescript errands. Pretty simple stuff. And just being out when the sun is down at 5:30, 6 o'clock is so anyway, we are going to talk about um, shifting into a mindset of abundance. And I know that sometimes that's kind of hard to do, especially when your bank account is not reflecting as such. So, usually, as you know, I am a little bit more energetic than this, but it's okay. We are going to rock it. And then I'm going to just go ahead and go and get in the bed. Um, all right, so let me make sure I got this shared out. All right, let me go to my notes so I can be succinct. All right, so we are going to talk about how your mindset shapes your relationship with money. Then we're going to go into like just kind of key mental blocks that's holding you up from your path. After that, give you a couple of tools and such to help you along this path. And then how gratitude and such plays a role in shifting your mindset. Now, this is layered, right? So my suggestion would be is to kind of take it day by day. Don't expect your your mindset to change overnight. For me, it took years. And a lot of that was years of undoing what I had learned, whether it was consciously or subconsciously. And it takes a lot to dig subconsciously into your mind state to see what is holding you back. So, nothing's wrong with me tonight. I'm just tired. I'm sleepy. So, after we go over these tips, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to bed. Oh, I hate fallback. I hate when it gets dark early. Anyway, all right. So, why does your mindset, how does that compare to your relationship with money? Well, I talk a lot about the subconscious mind. And again, it took years for me to undo this because the subconscious mind picks up things that you are um, either consciously aware that you're learning or also subconsciously because you see a lot of things on TV, especially me growing up, we didn't have Netflix and streaming, cell phones, and all that stuff. We had TV and commercials, and commercials were usually a little bit louder than the regular show, and that's because it was to grab your attention. And so things like that really kind of shape, especially the young mind too, as far as the relationship with money. I mean, think about it, like commercials, like for example, the Grey Poupon mustard commercial, right? It was the fancy commercial. It was the guy pulling up in the limo. Excuse me, do you have any Grey Poupon? Like seeing that triggers an emotion or a subconscious response into the kid. Children's minds are really shaped between 0 to 5 years old, and everything, they're like a sponge. And I'm always reminded, like especially with my toddler, why he's always asking me why. And in my response to him, I try to make sure that I am aware of what I'm saying to him. Versus media, they don't care. They just ingrain whatever they can into the shapes of young, in the minds of young people. So commercials, going back to that commercial with the mustard, you think, oh, rich people have to buy this mustard, right? Although as an adult, you you can kind of dissect where the marketing is going, but as a kid, It's like, oh, that's rich people. Or for me growing up, like looking at Breyer's ice cream commercial, that was for rich people, right? Because it was like the top name brand, especially if you're looking at like those commercials and you see what's coming to your house. Well, if you don't see something that you equate it with rich coming into your house, then you automatically think you're poor. As a kid, that's kid logic. I'm not talking about adult logic. And so when you start looking at these things that you subconsciously picked up on, whether big or small, it completely shapes your mindset of money as you grow up. And sometimes the window is broken and sometimes it's not, right? Where there's a few different instances. I can't think of it in examples now, but I'll figure it out here in a minute and tell you, because again, I'm sleepy, so my brain is not moving at optimal speed right now. So the subconscious mind completely shapes everything that you think about money. Look at how your parents spoke to you, or your guardians, right? Or grandparents, aunts. One of the key things, especially in the Black community, is, can we go to McDonald's? Do you have McDonald's money? These kind of sayings really reiterate, well, no, so I guess you don't either, so I guess we don't have enough money to go, right? They're funny, but at the same time, the mind of a kid is they're thinking about what they want. Kids, and that goes into my next point, is that kids focus on what they want. They don't know what no means. They don't know what patience means. They don't know time, right? So if you say later, well, I can't get it now, so I'm not getting it, right? They don't have a perception of time. And so hearing things like that really triggers this response of, oh, we're poor, or we don't have any money, or, oh, and even deeper than that, I'm not deserving of it, et cetera, et cetera. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind when I give you some tools to kind of relive that and try to hash that out, to bring it to the forefront, so that you can work on it. Now, okay, so now let's take this and kind of move it from the kid, right, to, let's say, teenager, young adult. And then we'll move into the older adults. But from like teenagers to, well, especially around the teenage years, a lot of us tend to go out and get jobs. I was working since I was 14. And for me, working from 14, literally since then, I haven't stopped. It was ingrained in me that I had to continue. I had to work hard. I always had to work hard, and I always have to work hard in order to bring in money. And so if you were a teenager who, whether you had to go and get a job to help out with the household, or you just wanted to go and get a job because you thought that was what you needed to do, or you wanted to get a job because you didn't want to bother your parents with, or your guardians, etc., for money, or you might not have had a choice. All of that really plays into now carrying out, thinking about I'm sorry, let me get my words out. That plays a role in how you think then. I'm sorry. I told y'all I'm really sleepy, so bear with me. From childhood up through the teenage years, all of those thoughts and perceptions of money now have a role in shaping your viewpoint as you're going out into the work field. And if you are feeling like you need or have to, that's on the more, I don't want to give it an equation of lower or higher, but it's on the, I guess, more stringent side of things, where your subconscious mind really, really has taken a beating. I mean, that's the best way I want to put it, right? If you had no choice but to go out and start working, and whether that was you helping out with the household, or you didn't have any guardians, right? Some people didn't have any guardians growing up. And so that is that's is I will say it's going to be challenging, but it's not doable, right? If you are willing to put in the work, to really help push yourself and elevate yourself to the next level. But then now let's go into like the adulthood, right? Let's say, when I say adulthood, I mean, of course, technically by government standard, adulthood starts at 18. I don't live by that. Let's just say 25 and up, right? 25 and up. Where now you've gone through childhood, you've gone through, you know, the first job kind of phase, and now you're in adulthood and you're out of, college, you're out of school, and you're in this workforce, or you might even be in grad school, but still you're in this workforce and you're taking every single thing. And it's almost like you taking a baggage of thoughts behind you, and you just carry that invisible bag around with you everywhere you go. And you don't even feel it. You don't even know it's there, but you're literally taking it with you. That's how I like to describe the subconscious mind. And so you're going to work, and it tends to start feeling bad. I know for me, that's how it did. And especially with a lot of people who are in this awakened, enlightened type of mind space where going to work feels bad if it's not something that really drives your passion. And so, but then you have this nagging voice almost in the back of your head, like, oh, I have to, I have to, I have to. I will be broke if I don't have a job. I will not be able to pay for things if I don't go to work. Or I have no choice but to work on my day off because these people are telling me that I have to. Well, once you start really living in the enlightened state of mind, you start realizing that these people are literally controlling everything that you do. And now let's take it back to the childhood with the Grey Poupon commercial. And now you're an adult. Well, I can't afford these nice things unless I have this job, or I need to make more money in order to be able to afford Grey Poupon. You know what I'm saying? So now our viewpoint of success, our viewpoint of what freedom, money looks like, it's all been misconstrued. And you don't really, you got to break out of that cycle. It really is a vicious cycle. And when we take a deeper look at the subconscious mind, it is like a tape recorder. It's like not a tape, well, I guess like a boombox. You take a tape. I don't know, I'm showing my age. When I wanted to record over a tape, I would put a little piece of tape on the side of the square and put it in my boombox, and I would record off the radio. And then I would do that how many ever times I wanted to in order to, have whatever songs I wanted on the tape. And every time you put it in there, you press record, something records, right? You put it in there again, something records. And that's what happens. Our subconscious mind is literally a tape full of everything that has ever happened in our life. One of the key phrases, and I don't know why this sticks out in my mind, because college was well over 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And it's the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And that's because the future hasn't even happened yet. But if you are constantly living, and a lot of us, we do this, we tend to do this, we tend to live in the past, because that's what has defined us until this moment. But what we rarely do is start to live out in our future selves and start defining what the future self looks like. And so if you separate yourself from everything that you have ever known, essentially, and you start looking at what the future self looks like, now you're creating a detachment from your past, moving into this new phase. And so that would be one of the tools that I would suggest that you do, is take a look at who you are today. I mean, literally, if you need to write it down, and describe everything that you think you are, and then describe everything that you want to be. And if you take a look at those two things that you've written, it's going to create a discord, and it's going to create some uncomfortable feelings inside. And that's because you don't know this future self yet. But your goal is to start rewriting and start understanding who that future self is. And you can't do that unless you really start getting into the role and playing it out. And again, it might feel weird, and i'm I'm probably gonna say, I'm gonna say it will feel weird. It will feel real. Oh, that's a lot of W's. It will feel real weird. I still can't get to that. But the more that you do it, the more that it's going to really start settling and feeling more and more comfortable the more you do it. And then by the time that you've really kind of settled into that new future self, then it's going to become second nature for you. But it takes work and it takes time. Another thing that I wanted to talk about too, as far as shifting into the mindset of abundance, is that lack, worry, fear, all of those really lower vibrating energies and emotions, they will weigh you down like an anchor. And so, how do you get rid of it? Well, fear, worry, those are prayer. I like to say that those emotions equate to prayers for the unwanted. And it's not anything that's happened. It's just that you're praying, it doesn't happen. But when you start praying that it doesn't happen, the universe doesn't hear, oh, let's not make that happen. The universe hears how you feel. And so the more that you feel that you don't have something, or you don't, not going to be able to get anything, then the universe is going to start responding to that vibration. Any level of vibration that you live in is what you're going to see in your reality, see in your outer field. And so I used to be a huge worrier. And now I'm probably on the way other side of the spectrum. But I would worry. And then it just came to a point in my mind. I was like, why am I worrying? What benefit does this serve me in this moment? And the best way to stop worrying is to start getting present in the moment, and evaluating your situation from the present, not the future. What can you do today to raise your vibration? What can you do today that's going to move you into that future self? And so it takes a while, but if you're willing to put in the work, then you can do it. Now, I will say this is that you're probably going to tell yourself that this is stupid. This doesn't even make sense, because I told myself that when I was really working on myself. And it's because your body has been used to vibrating on a certain frequency for so long that it's resisting the change. And the more that you try to change it, the louder that voice will probably scream at you. This is dumb. We shouldn't be doing this. Why does this matter? But I promise you, the more that you address it, the more that you could tell it to shut up, and then the voice goes away. It might try to creep back up in there. I promise you, it might try, but you'll recognize it a lot sooner than you would have before, because you're at a different frequency level than you were in the past. And so that's how you can begin to recognize it. I myself have been in situations like that where I go, ooh, I know what you're trying to do, and this is me talking to myself. I know what we're trying to do, and that's not going to happen. And then it starts to go away. But if you really work on it, I promise you it will. So let me get back to my list so I can make sure I stay on topic here. Oh, right. And then last thing I wanted to mention is you'll hear it all the time, is being grateful, showing gratitude. And a lot of the times people say that because that helps to get your vibration up, increase your vibration, to start allowing the good things into your life. But that's good, but I don't really focus too hard on the you gotta wake up and show gratitude and all that stuff. I focus more so on the mindfulness and the intention, because those are two very key things. Because sometimes, and you might agree with this, I don't know, let me know in the comments, but sometimes showing gratitude in the midst of, you know, your world falling apart, it feels very unnatural. And so instead of trying to force yourself into this, I'm going to be grateful despite, then start lower, start being mindful again, like I mentioned with the whole worry, where you are in that moment. And then set your intention for that moment, because intention is going to follow from the mindfulness, right? Be mindful, set your intention. Everything follows with intention as long as you set it. And so if you're in the middle of, again, your world falling apart, and you set your intention that I am going to have peace right now, then that in itself, peace is a higher vibrating energy than in the moment, right? Than freaking out, or what they say now, crashing out or whatever. So, you know, I'm not downgrading, or I'm not saying that showing gratitude is bad. That's not what I'm saying. I like to focus on being more realistic, right? Because we are all energy. And if you want to create more permanent change, then you really do have to focus on a more realistic approach to things, okay? And that's the same thing. The showing gratitude kind of goes in line with just repeating affirmations over and over. I don't I don't downplay affirmations. I just don't want you to try to force something so so hard onto yourself. I gotta say my affirmations. Even though, now, do affirmations work? I mean, yeah, they do. But there's some key moments when they work. And like in one of the other videos I mentioned earlier this week, is listening to them while you sleep. Or sometimes, like, I will listen to them while I'm doing work, because I'm not really focused consciously on listening. It just kind of plays in the background. It still plugs into my subconscious. But trying to force it when you are feeling horrible, if it works for you, great. But if it doesn't, start again with the mindfulness and intention. Let's just take it down a notch. And everything is going to work out. And once you start kind of following these tips, you'll find that you're slowly progressing to a higher level of vibrating energy, being able to attract more abundance. And then identifying what abundance is also key too, because sometimes abundance, I like, for example, the other day, yeah, I mean, this might not be a big deal, but I got contacted by Rumble. I've heard of it before. My husband was telling me about it, where it's a whole nother platform that's similar to YouTube. And they contacted me, want me to join and all this other stuff. And what they were saying was sounding really good. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So like something like that, for me, that's abundance, right? Because they're introducing me to a whole new stream of revenue. Or abundance might be, your friend takes you out to eat unexpectedly, right? That's abundance. It doesn't always have to equate to a dollar amount. Yeah, a dollar amount is great. But once you start seeing the small things, and this is where the gratitude comes in, start seeing the small things, and recognizing the small things as you are working through mindfulness and intention, then the more you start appreciating those small things that you see, then you'll start seeing that it grows and grows and grows. And so that is what I have for you today. If you are looking for an opportunity to bring in more passive income, then I have the School of Magick, which is a done for you digital marketing program for spiritual entrepreneurs. And if you want to book a call and talk to me about it, then I, definitely do that down here at this link. It's free. So let's get on the phone and chat. We can talk more in depth about what you have going on. and see how the School of Magic can fit into whether a new business that you're beginning or an established business that you have. So I will see you all tomorrow. Man, this going live every day is really taking a toll on me. And I think that's why I'm sleepy. I've been going hard, but I am determined. I'm going to do this every day for 30 days. So you'll see me back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have no idea what we're talking about, but I will be here. And then on Friday, well, I don't know, what is today? Is it day 19th? I got my days all mixed up. Yeah, Friday is my birthday. Yay! And I'm going to a juvenile concert. So that is going to be fun. I might go on live. Oh no, you're fine, Sonny. You are so fine. You're fine. By all means, yeah, speak whenever you feel that you need to, and don't when you feel like you don't have anything to say. Trust me, I'm totally okay with that. Something just flew in front of my camera. Anyhow, so yeah, I might go on live so y'all can see me transform into my 2000s gear. I'm gonna put my I got a weed ponytail I'm gonna put in with some waterfalls, and then I was gonna get me some butterfly clips. Oh Lord, this is gonna be fun. So